So,
Can't wait.
I would like.
That's what we're all gonna do that. We're all gonna do that.
Are we?
Yes, definitely. Well, we seem to be doing it, don't we?
Indeed, indeed, we are. But what is ascension?
Ooh, a question. I think it could be different for everybody. It could be different. It's down to your life experiences and all the things that happened to you, and how you dealt with that and integrated that into your life, and how you now. Ascension to me would be changing your moral parameters and your actions, your love and actions. Going from a place of where you were maybe in hell, or what would be perceived as hell, which was like a self-imposed belief system, and then moving through. As soon as you find out about the system and the knowledge, and you start to understand that the system's just there as a control mechanism, maybe like over guidance sort of thing. Well, once you shake that system off, you free your mind up, and you become I think you become more enlightened and more ascended. You're free to pass knowledge on. You're free to pass. People still try and put their limitations on you, but you don't take them on anymore. You just shrug them off, and you go, well, that's not me. Every time somebody puts a label on us, I'm not that. I'm something else, and then I'm something else, and I'm constantly changing all the time. To actually put a label on us or anybody is probably a bit disrespectful, because you're limiting.
That was a beautiful definition of ascension there. See, I saw you flowing. You get in your vortex.
Yes.
That's awesome, because it's interesting how it ends up being a very similar definition to a lot of people that have very different lives.
Yes.
So the term, the way that I describe ascension, or is enlightenment is considered like an individual process. Ascension would be enlightenment in plural, so enlightenment in mass.
Yeah, I agree.
The thing is a lot of people believe that it's some sort of final goal, that once you get there, you get enlightened, and that's the end. That's the end. Like that's the achieving goal.
Yeah, I believe that at one point. I thought it was a destination, but then I realized it was the journey. It's the journey that's ascension.
Agreed. It's the journey.
Or enlightenment.
If you could you tell me the story of like before you got into this, and what you were like then, and then how you kind of transitioned into this interest?
Yeah, I wouldn't call. Obviously, I don't think this is an interest for me. That this is more life. Do you know what I mean? That this is life speaking to us in a certain way. And before I was like this, or before I become a little bit more enlightened, because I wouldn't say I was massively enlightened, but I've enlightened myself in certain ways. Before this, I had a very limited mindset. I don't know if you've seen Plato's allegory of the cave.
Yes.
Where you're stuck in facing them shadows, and you think the shadows are real. I didn't really understand the definition of the place I was in. I was always trying to help people and love people, and be nice to people and be decent, but I kept on getting hurt all the time. And I was thinking, well, what am I doing wrong? How can I still be being nice to people and love people and tell them the truth, but still be getting hurt so many times? I didn't understand that. And then what I started to realize after about 35 years, was that it's ingrained in our society and in our belief systems and structures to actually be like this, to put other people down, to stand on people, to get where you want to go, when really, I mean, even from a young age, when you look at people at school, when they're at school, they put in lines, they put in uniforms, and they put in a certain construct where they're in competition against each other. When to me, we're now reaching a stage now of cooperation. If we continue down that competitive path, it's nothing but consuming ourselves, and that's the end of that. For me now, it's now cooperation. It's seeing each other's commonalities instead of differences. It's there's no such thing as religion. It's just controlled spirituality. Basically, the TV, your radio, and things like that are constantly berating you with certain belief systems, And whether you know that you're absorbing that or not, you are absorbing it, because a lot of people are just repeating the same facts that they have heard of other people, when really they haven't really researched them or looked into them. So they're just repeating it, and then when you prove that fact wrong, they get angry with you, when really you're just showing them the truth.
Or they'll say you're being negative.
Yes, yeah. Well, really all I'm doing is I've posed things to your question. So my new approach is, and you can do this yourself, James, is I say your name in your head.
James.
And people say their name in their head, and I go, well, you just spoke and you just heard with no noise being made. How did you do that? And at first they go like that, they go, I don't know what to say. And I'll go, well, what is the source of them words? How do you know where them words come from? And how do you know you are the source of that? I mean, if I had the right frequency for your head, I could just put words in your head and you would see it and you would sound like my drone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then they would call you schizophrenic.
Yeah, yeah. But at the end of the day, what I did with that little trick is of saying your name in your head is proving that everybody has a voice in your head, because nobody can deny that they don't after they've done that. Everybody has a voice in the head. You just have different dynamics of yourself within your head that kind of speak to you in different times and different places. I mean, I still have that negative voice. I still have my demons, but I just don't listen to them as much, because I know who I am and I have my worth, and I know exactly what I can do, so I follow that and I follow my truth.
So for you, was it like a gradual process, or was there levels or steps?
It seems to be plateaus of understanding. It seems to be it happened quite extreme at one point, but since then it seems to be. But what I view it as, obviously doing the Reiki, is that I have different chakras, and each chakra kind of has like a boss at the end of the level. So at the moment I'm still trying to beat my fight or flight reaction. So tomorrow night I'm doing a boxing match, which puts me in right conflict with that fight or flight reaction. And to me, that's the only way to do it, is to face them fears down and put yourself in the position to face them fears down. Whether you like it or not, get in there and do it. You know, it's nothing that's going to change unless you conquer that fear.
That is very true. You said there's a boss at the end of every level?
Yeah. Yeah.
I call that the echo. So when you grew...
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll return the question. How did you find Ascension? And obviously, how did you find the process? Because it's not just about me. I would like to know about you as well, James.
Of course, of course. So for me, I grew up in a religious environment, believing that if you held certain beliefs and you believed them fully, then you were saved, and that was it. That was it. And if you didn't believe that, you were doomed. That was just what was. And that created lots of dissonance in me when I got to the age of about 20. I'm 25 now, so about 5 years ago. It created so much dissonance to the point where there was an aspect of me that saw the falsity in that, but my brain didn't, because my brain had formed my whole entire belief structure around that as an identity.
Yeah.
That was my identity, and that was how I could share spirituality with anybody, was to get them to believe the thoughts I believed about it.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And so I came to a point where I just said, like, I passively just said, okay, I know that this cannot be true, so what else is there?
Yeah.
All of these belief systems that I thought were evil and bad were in fact just as valid as the beliefs I carried when I was younger.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so I became an open person, and I was able to see past the concepts of I had put in concepts on Buddhism and concepts on Hinduism as evil and heresy, because they went against the religion that my brain structure created to be. All reality came back to my religion, even though it doesn't. I just formed that because I had to feel good about my sense of self in that religious context.
Yeah. Can I ask though, but did you form it, or did your parents apply that to you? Because to me, I don't think you formed that yourself. I think your environment formed that belief system within you.
Well, the environment did, but I had many moments growing up where I doubted it, and then through my own experience reinforced it again.
Yeah.
So.
But it's hard to go against the crowd at times when you're so young and you think, well, who am I to question this and who am I to question that? When it's testament to yourself how strong you have been to actually do that.
Well, yeah, and luckily at the time I was living away from all the people that reinforced that belief, so I was able to kind of have my own time to kind of digest it on my own. And I even prayed about it for like 30 days. I prayed like every night, just, if I no longer believe this, if this is the truth, I would love to know. And it never at any point did I see that it was the truth, or never did anything call out and be like, oh no, you're going down the wrong path, this isn't real. So from there on, I was just completely atheist. I was an empty box now. I was just seeking to find what truth was.
Yes.
And then over the next like 3 years, it was lots of depression, anxiety, lots of issues in relationships, always trying to find myself and never seemed to be able to.
Were you looking into other people to find yourself, though?
Well, I was looking into the fact, I was looking in things and experiences and jobs and things to find who I was. And I wanted to be somebody. But I came to find out that during those years, which was like specific years of compression, it was allowing me to seek and find, and then realize that in finding I still didn't find myself.
Yeah.
I got the full-time job with the desk. I started moving up in corporate America, making good money doing sales, and I found out that it wasn't what I wanted at all. It wasn't even close. It didn't fulfill anything. In fact, it made it much worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Working 70 to 100-hour weeks did not fulfill me in any way. And in fact, I was working those 70 to 100 hours because I didn't know who I was, and I was just running,
burying yourself,
burying myself in that identity. And when I was there, I could put on this whole persona. I could put on this whole identity of that I was this, great salesman, and I believe I was a great salesman, but it was eating my soul.
Yeah.
So I ended up, all of this story is intertwined with drug addiction that I was numbing. When I was at that sales job, I ended up leaving because I ended up popping so many pain pills just to get through my day, because I was emotionally bankrupt. I didn't know how to relate with other people without sabotaging the relationship through my own feelings of inferiority.
Yeah.
And then
don't you see? Go on, sorry.
What was that? Go ahead.
I was just about to say, I've had anything with drug addiction. I believe a lot of us do have addictive personalities. We seem to be looking for something, and when we can't find that, we try and numb ourselves to be able to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Because we're searching and we can't find this thing, and we're like, well, what is it that I'm looking for? And really, it's ourselves. We're looking for ourselves, and we've always been looking for ourselves. And to me, that's what I'm now uncovering. It was like I was made out of a mold, and I've just started to chip away and going, I've just found another piece of me. And I'm finding sections of us all over the world and through my experiences and things like that. And it's just an amazing process. I'm not going to say it's an easy process, because it's certainly not. I've been tore up to bits. I mean, you sit there sometimes, I'm crying my eyes out at times, because either something's so beautiful or something's hurt us so badly. But every experience, whether it be love or pain, has made me grow in a certain way. And if I didn't have them experiences, then I wouldn't be the man who I am today. and I wouldn't be keep on standing up and doing the things that I do, because this thing or whatever it is, this life, this creation, I don't know if you can call it a god. I don't think it's a god. I think it's more just a universe, and maybe this is a training level or a training universe or whatever. But whatever this reality is, it's a beautiful experience, and it's a whoever designed it was very clever and very loving.
You did, buddy.
But I bet I did, and I can imagine. I'm the type of dude who designed it and then put myself back in the game and made us forget. I would do that to myself.
So yeah, that's what I want to touch on, which I'm going to get to. I'm just going to close my door.
It's nice that we can speak like this.
It really is.
It's not many people you can interact with this level. It's becoming more. I mean, from when I first woke up till now, the amount of people who said, like, obviously I was doing Reiki. Have you heard of Reiki before?
I have.
Yeah, I think I've sent you Reiki before, James, haven't I?
Oh, I believe so.
I think I did. What you call it? But now, obviously, when I first started doing it, and people were calling us like a fake and things like that, they've seen Reiki's not real and that. And because of I am who I am, I was like, well, you turn up and I'll turn up and I'll do Reiki to you. And then if you tell me if it's not real, right, then fair enough. But they never turned up. But I would turn up every time. Do you know what I mean? And I found that laughable, because it was me, the one that was making the claim. Says, look, I can do Jedi things. I can put my hand on your head. I can Reiki it, and you know, I call it Jedi stuff sort of thing, because it's energy management. But the things I was saying, I was going, look, I can read this. If you lose something in the house, if you just tell us what you've lost, I can think about it for a bit, and I'll probably find it straight away for you. You know, little extra abilities. And then I was telling everybody can do this, and nobody would believe us. But over the last 2-3 years, people have started to change, and people have started to come up to us and go, Michael, what about this? Michael, what about that? So it's changing, and it's coming. Do you know what I mean? It has been gradual, but that momentum is now picking up, and we are now starting to motor that. Do you know what I mean? The Ascension wave is picking up.
It is. I was gonna go back into my story to get to the good part.
Go for it.
Okay, so I was seeking, I was depressed, I was going from job to job, nothing felt good as far as my life, because I would go to work and then I would come home, I would just be tired, and I would just go to sleep or relax, and I wouldn't work on my passions, I wouldn't work on anything of creative potential. I was just working and going home, which is what a lot of people do.
Yes.
And it got to a point of where I was suicidally depressed. I didn't want to exist anymore. I was being beat up by my emotions, beat up by my negative thoughts. Just wanted it to end. And then I had multiple awakenings, and each time it gets longer and longer, the duration of the awakening. And if people want to know what the awakening entails, it is where you all of a sudden have a freedom from the constraints of your emotions and your thoughts, and there is a sense of beingness in you that is all pervasive, and it does not have an ability to be strengthened or reduced. It is just your being. And so I would walk around my life, and things would come up, and then they would go away back into the now. Like emotions would come up, thoughts would come up, they would disappear back into the now, and then they would just be gone. And it was as if I had never been controlled by my emotions. They just all of a sudden were no longer had power over me. And then the most profound one was in 2015, where I saw that all of my suffering was self-created, and I saw how my reactions to my environment kept reinforcing the self-created suffering. As in, when I would experience a negative sensation, I would turn it into psychological suffering, because I would tie that negative sensation through and put it in time and put it into a story, and that story was of me being very sickly and beaten up by life and things not going my way, and just I would turn it into a story. So I had to make a conscious choice to blast through all that, like you said, like the boss at the end of the level.
Yeah.
I had to make a conscious choice that I knew I was going to go through that. I call it the echo. The echo, the past reverberation of all of your created suffering.
Yeah, yeah.
And so once you become conscious and aware that there is something inside of you that is beyond all of that, beyond content, then you could start to move through the suffering and pain and all of that, but you have to do it with like deep presence. So when it comes up, becoming very alert at whatever it is that's coming up, and going to a place within you that is absolutely still and just aware of the situation without turning it into another problem or turning it into a bad story about your life and then caving into that.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree, yeah.
As I did that, very quickly I came from a place of deep suffering to a place of intense joy within like a week. And as I started to do that over and over again, I could see that I was internally building my outer relationship with reality and creating different circumstances for the betterment of myself and those around me, which my created suffering was making others suffer.
Yes.
And then that's, I started having the deep introspection that, like you had said, the ultimate search of man is to find God, but then in the God essence, being unlimited, God seeks to be man. So it's like this, you end up laughing out loud when you understand.
Paradoxical.
Yeah, because I was believing myself to be simply a physical human, I seek the eternal. Being the eternal, I seek to be human.
Yeah, so the finite seeks the infinite, and then the infinite seeks the finite.
It's like the ultimate comedy.
Yeah.
It's like I just the understanding that I thought of it as is like the ultimate spirituality, I guess, would be just to be enjoying the experience because that's why you're here.
Yeah, yeah. But we've been taught so many times to be worried about the past or to be anxious about the future, that you do lose the present at time. You lose that now moment because you're like, oh, what's going to happen here, or this happened to me, and you go back into a victim mentality. A lot of the time it was my labels, the labels I had upon myself that caused me so much like anguish and problems, because I thought, well, I have to be this way and I have to act this way and I have to do this way. But once I dropped all my labels, all the things about race, all the things about society, and I just become a free thinking person, a free thinking human being, you know what I mean? It just becomes so much easier. There's less pressure in the world. Obviously I used to do a lot of factory work and working in factories and things like that, and I was like, I just don't want to be here. I don't want to do these things. So what I've done is I've went out and I've created 2 or 3 businesses for myself, where I do my handyman business, I do my Reiki business, and I do my football coaching, and all them 3 things I love. So now I'm getting paid for doing the things that I love, which is fantastic. And I think that's the way that people want to move. Do you know what I mean, James?
Sorry, I'm listening. I just happened to shut the door.
Yeah. I'm just saying, obviously, speaking about obviously creating your own business and creating your own things that you love. If you can find them things, what you love, write them down and create that into a business, you'll never work another day in your life.
Yeah, that was my hardest thing, is when I first started Nobody's Tribe, trying to turn it into a business without dealing with a lot of backlash, because people, in my mind, it's like I don't want any of this to be cost anybody anything. I would like it to be free, but at the same time, it's like I would like to be able to
survive as well.
I would like to be supported off of what I have to offer. But I don't know. That's a hard battle. So I'm thinking of doing something. I don't know. I'm gonna sell some Nobody's Tribe T-shirts. Nobody's Tribe T-shirts.
Fine. Start with them T-shirts there. That one's fantastic. I love that one.
Well, I was thinking I can make some pretty cool T-shirts for Nobody's Tribe, and then I can have the YouTube on the back so people could find it. I gotta think of some slogans for it, but
I've already thought about starting a t-shirt business. To be honest, I've got about 20 t-shirts ready to go. I just need to be able to print them, and obviously get the stock and things like that to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because obviously symbolism is massive, and we have a lot of negative symbolism around us. So we could fight back a little bit with our own symbolism, and you could educate people. I mean, you could have slogans, you could have philosophical statements, spirituality statements. And obviously when you've got people walking around and this is spreading out and people are getting, oh, where did you get that t-shirt from? Nobody's tribe. Oh, where are they from? And it starts again, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The thing is because like I don't know a lot about design. I'm not good at drawing or anything. Like I would want to make t-shirts like this. That'd be dope.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's beautiful, lad. I love it.
I gotta figure out.
I've done that before.
I gotta figure out how to do it though. But I mean, if I made t-shirts, it'd probably just be like generic t-shirts. Like I was thinking of like, it would say like "Awaken as One" or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Very simple but very profound statements. See,
Well,
I would like things like with the toroidal flows on, so you could see the toroidal flow going up and things like that. You know what I mean? And start to teach basic physics, basic sciences within these slogans. Do you know what I mean? Into the sacred geometry and things like that. That would be good to have on. Things like the Vesica Pisces, and understand where that comes out of the flower of life. Do you know what I mean? And things like that, and just little things as we go. I like little spirit science slogans as well. There's a lot of spirit science that certainly started me off and made me look in the right direction. I enjoyed a lot of spirit science, and I think that's where we're going to, isn't it? Really, because you either get spiritual or you get science, but no one's actually put them together correctly yet.
yeah, we have to. I just design is not my forte.
It doesn't have to be me. We just have to keep it simple. Keep it simple. Make it profound, and be quite direct. And make sure you hit the right people. As long as people don't know who we are, I mean, we could come up with a slogan, a company that doesn't even know who the owners are, and we just keep knocking out t-shirts, and we could be living as like millionaires, but we're hiring these t-shirts out, but I'd still end up giving me money away because I know what I'm like. You've got to put back in.
Well, we can do those spiritual but offensive t-shirts like "Namaste, bitch."
Yeah, I'm up for that. Yeah.
No,
I love anything like that.
somebody already made those.
But I'm saying though, I think being spiritual a lot of the time, people take shit, and I think to be a true spiritual warrior sort of thing is don't take shit and don't give shit, which is a good slogan in itself.
Don't take shit, don't give shit.
Yeah, pretty simple. Don't give it, but if somebody comes to you and they start giving you shit, you can't just take it. You've got to at least stand your ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about attacking people, but I'm talking about where you just say no. I don't have to take that, and you walk away from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have the 7 keys of the universe. I don't know if you've seen that, where you've got all the universal laws. We could have them put on. Loads of things. There's loads of things.
Lots of different ideas. We have to make enlightened businesses.
Communities of light.
Yep. You gotta start from the ground up, though.
I know. Yeah. But I'm saying at least it started. At least the groundwork's being done, and we're making the right connections to the right people.
What temperature is it there in England?
Horrendous. It's always horrendous here. It's about 15 degrees here.
15 degrees. Are you talking Celsius?
No, I don't know. No, 15. Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
is it winter there?
No, it's not winter here. This is the normal climate. This is summer.
Wait, do you mean like 15 degrees, like below freezing?
No, I mean like 15 degrees above freezing. So you have freezing at 0, 1, 2.
So yeah, that's Celsius.
Yeah, so it's not cold. It's not cold here, but it's not warm either. It's just all right.
Yeah, it's like 100 degrees here Fahrenheit.
I couldn't survive in that. Well, I would after a while.
You could boil an egg on the ground.
That's unreal. Nah, never experienced heat like it. Never.
No?
I'm very surprised people get sick there, considering the amount of heat and the sunshine that you get there. Do you know what I mean? If you're full of sun all the time, you should be radiant. You should be glowing. You know what I mean?
Only if that were the case.
I know. But for some reason we wear like sun creams and all this stuff, and that, to me, I think that could possibly be cancerous as well. All this sort of stuff. Maybe we
Possibly,
should
but
just be out in the sun normal and having normal sun.
that's true. Have you experienced any of the Ascension symptoms?
Yeah, I've had ringing in the ears.
Okay.
A lot of ringing in the ears. I've had lucid dreams.
Do you notice that it changes when the sun goes down?
Mine's more seems to be in with the moon. A lot of the times with the moon, when the moon starts
Yes.
to come to when the moon starts to come to a full moon, that's when everything seems to like go crazy a bit.
Yes.
But then when it starts to go towards a new moon, that's when I start to set more intentions. I start to say, right, this is what I'm going to do this time, and I'm getting into flow with like where all the Earth cycles. If everything's a cycle, then even me as a person, I mean, I don't know if you know about tempering steel, how you temper steel. So tempering steel, so what they used to do with the old samurai swords was to break them apart and smash them together, fold it over, break it again, heat it up, and then fold it over, and this is called tempering steel. Now that's what I believe what happens to us. We start to make this plan, and we put all this thing together, and we think we've got it beautiful, and then it starts to break apart, and we're like, well, what did we do wrong? We're not understanding that that's what's supposed to happen. If it's not right, it's going to break apart. So we can have something, so something better can come along that'll help for the highest good, not just maybe for my good or somebody else's good, but it'll break apart and it'll start unless it's meant to be. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a case of a tide. You know, you build a fantastic sandcastle and you're dead happy with it, and then the sea comes in and goes, whoosh, and you're like, well, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. It's just what happens. The sea comes in and it goes back out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of us are definitely being refined. I mean, that's why a lot of the people that are very sensitive didn't end up during this period, like 2010 to 2015 or even till now. A lot of these sensitive people didn't have, well, the younger ones didn't have a lot to identify with in their life, like content and stuff. Because if they did, they would have identified with it fully and allowed that to be their identity. So a lot of us that keep on having things that we identify with, and then it falls away, and then it falls away, they keep falling away. It's because we're supposed to find our identity beyond form.
Yes.
I want that to be a title of a book I write, Beyond Form.
Beyond form. So how would you identify yourself beyond form?
It is the idea of knowing that nothing can enhance or deplete who you are. The content is like a secondary thing, whether it's a job or whether it's people liking you or people liking your T-shirt or whatever it is.
Yeah.
No longer doing things to find yourself, but doing them because of yourself that you found.
So basically what you're saying is doesn't matter what job you do or who's in your life or what clothes you wear, you're always whole.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if I did this in a video yesterday, if you believe that, let's say for example, you have lots of very human things happening in your life, you have a lot of human characteristics and downfalls and vices, and you're trying to get away from that. If you feel like you can't be fully who you are because of you were doing these things, you're actually going to create and set up the parameters for those things to continue in your life because you don't believe yourself to be whole. You believe yourself to be limited by whatever those vices were, whether it was, yelling at people or drugs or alcohol or whatever your vice is.
Yeah.
So if you keep on getting your sense of self from the story, then you're going to continue writing that script.
Correct. Yes, I understand that. Yes. Yeah. But so obviously, if you've had something programmed into you or a vice that you've used to say sometimes you don't deal well with something. Every time you have a situation that happens, that you reach for this thing all the time. Do you know what I mean? That
I
program.
know what you mean.
I call it like, you know, if you have an iPhone and you have an app on an iPhone, and this app doesn't help you, it's very hard to get that app out of you very quickly. It has to happen over a process of time, deleting that app. And what I've seen to have done, and this is how I describe what's happened in my life, is I've got my iPhone and I'm now deleting the apps that don't serve me anymore, and I'm putting apps on I want to enjoy.
Agree. Yeah, like that.
If that makes sense.
And I go into deep detail on this self that is beyond content. I call it the watcher, I call it being or presence or whatever. And I say that it cannot be a concept of knowledge. It cannot be something that is perceived as an object, the self that you are beyond content. But I am writing that book, and I want to get it done as quick as possible.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, certainly.
Because
do you want to wrap this up then?
Yeah, we can wrap this up.
It's up to you. Do you want to wrap it up, or do you want to continue? I can talk for another 15 minutes if you want, or we can wrap it up. It's up to yourself.
Well, I'll go into a little detail about it, and then I'll tie in some stuff. So the book is going to be titled A Conceptual Life, and then underneath it'll say internally building your outer reality. It's the one that I had posted up for a while online, and I've completely rewritten everything. I mean, it's almost not the same at all, because this time around when I fell into a lot of vices and ended up needing to go to a drug detox to get off of them because my body was not very happy.
Yeah. I've been there. I've done it.
Yeah, so going through that detox, I either had to find that inner self, the presence, or go mad, go crazy. So I found that inner self beyond content, and it was still there, complete and whole, and 100% itself, as it always was. Even though I was in a drug detox and my body was like dead. And so
I actually call it controlled schizophrenia. It's like active schizophrenia. The thing is that it's not controlling me. I'm actively developing dimensions to myself and then choosing which Michael to use in certain situations. Because there's certain Michaels I don't need, like the boxing Michael is no good around my children. Do you know what I mean? Because
I didn't even know you boxed.
Sorry?
I didn't know you boxed.
Well, I didn't till the start of this year. This is a new thing that I've just started learning, and now I'm getting pretty good. I'm boxing tomorrow at a football stadium.
So the way you get forth, love and kindness is through punching people?
No, this is level 1 for me. This is level 1, beating my fight or flight chakra. So this is the way I have to do it. To me, I put myself in that situation to go and beat that fear.
Eckhart Tolle, right? You know who Eckhart Tolle is?
Yes. Yeah.
He used boxing as an example of the density of this earth.
Right. Fantastic.
But
for me,
if that works for you,
I used to probably take too much shit that I shouldn't have, and I didn't stand up for myself enough. So for me, in doing this and training and doing a lot of this is what I'm now conquering. Is I don't take as much shit as I used to, because obviously being a decent person, sometimes when people have just been blatantly nasty to us, I would go away and blame myself, and that was wrong.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have blamed myself.
I'm very sensitive like that.
Way of dealing with it. Sorry.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I decided to not be the victim anymore and to continue to train and exercise my body and get to a point where people don't do it anymore.
That's good.
They have no choice but to respect us because I've transcended what they said about us.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know what I mean? And that's what I do. I don't get angry at people and I don't fight back at them. What I do is I transcend them and I go to a new level where they can't attach any more labels to us.
Yes. Well, and if they do attach a label to us, it has nothing to do with our sense of self, which is beyond content.
Yeah, it's they're really what they're doing is seeing if whatever they see in me is what's in them, and that's what I say to them, and they hate it because they know I'm right. I said, look, at the end of the day, what do you see? And they'll say da 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 da. I said, well, I'm not like that. Ask my girlfriend, or ask this one. I thought, well, I can.
Oh, you froze. Alright, so the video cut out, but be sure to join us again on Monday around noon, where I will have this video out again, but with Denny Morales. We're going to be chatting about expansion in consciousness, ascension, and lots of spiritual stuff. Join us. Alright, well, please, if you would, subscribe to Nobody's Tribe and go to Nobody's Tribe on Facebook and like, so that you can get synchronistic messages, teachings about spirituality, ascension, dimensions, and origins of self. I guess we could say all of those. Much love and safe travels in the now.